Dear students, in the previous session, we all had studied about the making of nationalism in Europe, and we studied the society of the Europe was comprised of your aristocratic people, along with that the peasants. Later on, when the industrialization took place, after that the class society was classified into two, that is your working class and the middle class, which was including your businessmen, industrialists, etc. And this also you have read that this liberal middle classes people, they were very much motivated by the idea of your national unity, and they wanted the abolition of your aristocratic privileges in the society, and because of that only they had gained or they had become very much popular. Now in the continuation of that heading only, we are going to discuss the next one, the next heading, that is, what did liberal nationalism stand for? So, children, basically, in the early 19th century in Europe, the concept or the idea of nationalism, it is closely related to the idea of your liberalism. Now, this term liberal, it is basically derived from a Latin word, that is your liber, and what it means, that is your free. So this word liberalism meaning is free. Now we will be studying this, the use of this term liberalism in the different aspect here, that is socially, politically or economically, one by one. So firstly children, as what is the meaning of this liberalism in your social terms there? As you know that the new middle classes means your businessmen, professionals or the industrialists there, according to them, now the liberalism means that the freedom for individuals and equality for all before the law. And children, as in the political terms if we talk, then the liberalism means government by the consent. Government by the consent means people should have a right to vote, they should have the freedom to elect their own representatives. So basically they are talking about a democratic form of the government. And if you remember, then during the time of your French Revolution also, people, they wanted the end of your autocracy or the clerical privileges, and they demanded or they wanted a constitution, they wanted a representative government through the parliament there. Now children, at the same time, when we are talking about the new middle classes in the Europe, and they were simply motivated by the concept of your freedom and equality for all. But if we see at the time of your revolutionary France, so this concept was not visible over there. Why and how? Because the right to vote was exclusively with the propertied class, that too only men. Women who were having the right to property, they were also excluded from the right to vote. Later on, your Jacobins came into power, and the Jacobins, they who stood for the revolution for the equality, they were also biased on this issue, and they too granted right to vote to all adult male population only, not to the women. After this, your Napoleon Bonaparte came into power, and Napoleonic Code was issued. So, according to this Napoleonic Code, he preferred to limit this woman role also in the society, and the women were considered as a subject to the authority of father and the husbands there. Later on, this led to the rise of movement by the women and the non-propertied men demanding equal political rights there. Now we will be studying the same term of liberalism in the sphere of your economic. So in economic sphere, liberalism stood for the freedom for markets and the abolition of state imposed restrictions on the movement of goods and capital. Children, as if we see that, for example, in your Germany or in the German Confederation of the 39 states, which was set up by your Napoleon Bonaparte, now each state possessed its own currency, means every state had its own currency, they had their own weights and measures. And if a merchant had to do a trade within these 39 states there. Or for example, from like a merchant who is traveling from the Hamburg to the Nuremberg to sell his goods, then he had to pass through the 11 custom barriers, and he had to pay a custom duty of about 5% at each one of them. Now, duties were also often levied according to the weight or the measurement of the goods. And in every of the region, they were having their own system of weight and measures there. So this was taking too much time for the calculation. So it was not easy for a merchant to do the trade in all these 39 confederations, or the German confederation, or the 39 states there. So just to solve this problem only, to sort out this problem only, in 1834 a custom union called as the Joveren, it was formed by your Prussia along with the most of the German states there. And then they had taken some steps also to resolve this issue. So what steps they had taken? Firstly, what they did, that they abolished the tariff barriers. After this, now they had also reduced the number of the currencies. At that time, the number of currencies which were in the operation, that was 30 in number. And then these number of currencies which were operating over there, that were reduced from 30 to 2 only. And then a network of the railways was created for harnessing the economic interest. So this way, this concept of liberalism, it is understood by the different people in a different sphere of life. The next heading which you have, this is a new conservatism after 1815. And children, you know very well that the Napoleon Bonaparte, as he was a very ambitious ruler, and because of that he had tried to do the expansion of his territories there. So because of that only, a large number of the rulers in the Europe had become his enemy. And finally Napoleon Bonaparte, he was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in the year of 1815. So as after his defeat, conservative people, they had come into power. Now these conservative people, they favored to preserve the established traditional institutions of state and society, like your monarchy, church, social hierarchies, property, or the family there. But on the other hand side, there were some conservatives there who were not willing to adopt the pre-revolutionary system, and they believed that the Napoleonic changes, they wanted that the Napoleon changes which the Napoleon Bonaparte has introduced there, that should be adopted, that they wanted to bring the modernization, as they wanted that that will be contributing to strengthen the traditional institutions and the state power and make it more effective there. But other inside the conservatives, they also began to believe that the aristocratic monarchies of Europe too would be strengthened from the modern army, or an efficient bureaucracy, or a dynamic economy, or the abolition of your feudalism and serfdom. So the conservative people, as they had come into power after the defeat of your Napoleon Bonaparte. Now in the year of 1815, the representatives of the European powers, that is your Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, all these groups, all these powers, they came together after defeating to the Napoleon Bonaparte. They all met at Vienna to draw up a settlement for the Europe. And this particular congress, this particular gathering, it was headed, or it was hosted by the Austrian chancellor, who was the Duke Metternich. Basically, what was the objective of this? And we are calling this as a Treaty of Vienna of 1815. And what was the basic objective of this Treaty of Vienna of 1815? That was to undoing most of the changes that had come about in Europe during the Napoleonic War. So what were the main terms and conditions of your Treaty of Vienna there? That firstly, this is your Bourbon dynasty. Bourbon dynasty, as you all would be remembering, your King Louis XVI, he was belonged to the Bourbon dynasty, and when the French Revolution took place there, so Bourbon dynasty was removed from the power. So this time, according to Treaty of Vienna, what is said here, that the Bourbon dynasty that was restored to power, that has again came back to the power there. Secondly, France lost the territories it had annexed under the Napoleon Bonaparte. Then a series of states were also set up on the boundaries of France. Why? Simply to prevent the French expansion in the future, so that the France again should not have his ambitious strategy to annex more and more territories there. Because of that only, a series of states was set up on the boundaries of your France there. Then the Kingdom of the Netherlands, which included the Belgium, was set up in the north, and the Genoa was added to the Piedmont in the south. After this, your Prussia, it was given important new territories on its western frontier, while your Austria was given control of your northern Italy. The German confederations of 39 states, which was already set up by the Napoleon, now it was totally left untouched. And then the Russia was given the part of your Poland, whereas your Prussia was given the portion of your Saxony. The main intention was simply to restore the monarchies that had been overthrown by the Napoleon, and to create a new conservative order in the Europe. So the Treaty of Vienna, its main aim was only to bring the conservative people again into power. And you know that these conservative regimes, when they come up into power in the 1815 year, basically they were autocratic rulers. Autocratic rulers means these rulers who had absolute powers. And these autocratic rulers, they never like, or they were never ready to tolerate any of the criticism of their own there. They always tried to check the activities which was putting a question on the legitimacy of the autocratic government. So as we get that most of the autocratic rulers, they had already imposed the censorship laws to control what was said in the newspaper, your books, plays, or the songs, or the reflected the ideas of liberty and the freedom there. Now during this time, when the conservatives people, they came into power in 1815, so there was a fear of repression that drove in the many liberal nationalists. And a large number of the liberal nationalists, they all go underground. Now secret societies were formed to train the revolutionaries and spread their ideas. To be revolutionary at this time, meaning was that you have to oppose the rule of your monarch and to fight for the liberty and freedom. Now, children, in this reference, we are having a very important revolutionary, that is your Giuseppe Mazzini, and the heading which is given here, that is the revolutionaries there. So as I said here, that when the conservatives came into power here, so these revolutionaries people, they all liberal nationalists, they had to they have to go underground there, and the secret societies were set up. And Giuseppe Mazzini, he had played a very important role here for promoting the idea of unification of your Italy there. So as your important person is your Giuseppe Mazzini. And as I said here, that the Giuseppe Mazzini, he was basically an Italian revolutionary, and he had played a very important part or a role in promoting the idea of unification for the Italian states. He was basically sent into an exile at the age of 24 in 1831. And why? Because he was attempting a revolution in the Liguria. Later on, he came to France in 1830, and he had set up his two secret underground societies, which were known as Young Italy and the Young Europe, and who all were basically the a member of this year, that the your Poland, France, Italy, Germany, all these states were the member of it here. And what was the aim of these societies here? Simply to infuse the spirit of fraternity among the Italian people there. Now this Giuseppe Mazzini, he traveled in England and France, but he continued writing articles addressing and inspiring his countrymen there. Now, Giuseppe Mazzini, basically, he always believed that the God has intended nations to be a natural unit of mankind. So, Italy could not continue to be a patchwork of a small states and kingdoms. And he wanted the unification of a Italy, and he believed that the Italy should be forced into a single unified republic within a wider alliance of a nation. And Giuseppe Mazzini, this kind of the revolutionary thoughts or his vision for the democratic republics, it was always frightening to your conservative people there. And later on, the Metternich also had described him as the most dangerous enemy of our social order. So this way, the conservatives regime that was returned back to power there, and these conservative people, they had tried to any of the way to suppress to the liberal nationalist there. And the liberal nationalist on the other hand side here, they wanted that they should have the freedom of the press, and they wanted to end the rule of your monarch there, or the rule of your conservatives. Next turn, children, we are going to discuss about the next heading, that is the age of revolutions. Thank you.